call the meeting to order. Call the meeting to order. It should be 7:01 or 2.
7:02 I have.
7:02. Okay, very good. And let me hit that. Okay. Any additions or oh, we gotta seat the alternates. John, could you sit in for Tom?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay,
Thanks, Don.
very good. Any changes in the order of the agenda?
Yes, I'd like to request an addition to the agenda of IWWC 2324-01. The application of Kathy Sterling to place a shed 10 by 12 on her property at 80 Lake Road.
Okay, very good. We shall add that to the business here. Agenda. Okay.
6.2 under new business.
So where would that be? 11 point?
See, it looks like 6.2.
6.2, okay. Oh, yeah, I can. When I got a copy, I got things about that big. I can't hardly see it. 6.2. Let me just put that down. 6.2, and that's 2324.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we'll add that to the agenda. Any communications or correspondence?
No, not tonight.
None. Okay, very good. No audience of citizens, or is there? Oh, we got Carol Ann.
Hi, I'm Carol Ann McLean, and I would like to say something when it's open
Sure, it's
for
open
public
now.
speak.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Well, this is your time to say something. Very good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Sure.
Back in April 24th, 2021, you guys did a site walk of number 68 Route 66 East for Steve Harrington. And there was never any follow-up of the A2 survey that was completed. You guys were supposed to get a copy of that. The reason I'm bringing it up is that Mr. Harrington is now excavating the property, but this is to a property next door to us. And the excavation is causing runoff from the street and down the hill into the wetlands and then into our properties. So it's encroaching in our properties. So also there's a hearing that's coming up next Monday in regards to this parcel that, you know, I think that everything went ahead so fast that these things weren't included for the hearing on Monday, and you guys should have been notified, and this should have been, you should have been included in this discussion, because there is, you know, this runoff, the street runoff to the wetlands and to our properties.
And they didn't put a barrier fence up when they started?
Nothing has been
research?
done, and I asked the wetlands agent to come out, and she and the zoning agent and the new town planner, they all came out and essentially said nothing to see here. And if they had looked a little further, because I went on the other side, on the Coventry side, and spoke to the neighbors down there, we had been hearing truck noises like 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, but we're up here on 66 East. So all we hear is the beepers and everything. When I spoke to the residents down in Coventry along the river where they see what's going on, they've been calling the state police. They've been excavating for over a year in the middle of the night, with lights flashing into their homes and the backup beepers. And he's called the town and nothing has been done. So this water has been impacting, you know, it's been accumulating. It becomes a big stagnant area. And then when we get a really big rainfall, all that water gets pushed onto our properties. So I did speak to the sanitarium, and he agreed with his supervisor. They said the town has the things in place to have Mr. Harrington go ahead and do something, you know, like I think you guys have the Better the best practice management or something for runoff water, where the property owner should be putting something in place to catch that water or divert it. And nothing has been put in place, and we really need some action and some help in regards to this matter.
Okay, why don't we have Isabel contact Steve Harrington and ask him about what's been going on,
Good.
and then get back to you maybe, and get back to us.
Thank you. I
on
would
email.
really appreciate that. I thank you
That-
so much.
Okay,
Absolutely, and I will just add, Carol, so you're aware, I did receive your complaints and I have done more than just going to the site the one day. I have gone to the other side. I have gone up the trail behind your property as far as is possible. It is blocked currently because it was closed by DOT and DEEP, and there's a detour on that specific path, but I have been looking into it. I can't enter the property without permission from the property owner, but I understand your concern, and certainly if I do find evidence of the excavation that you're talking about, there will be follow-up.
Okay, so how does somebody determine if there's excavation going on if you guys don't actually go on the property and see what's going on? Is my question.
Well, he has a right to not have me enter his property unless he has an open application with me. I can't just enter his
Right,
property.
but there was
without
an open there was a permit, a special permit filed for this site. On June 12th was the hearing. The minutes don't reflect anything that happened in the meeting, but if you watch the video, it certainly does show that we raised our concerns. And the commission was, not interested in hearing anything other than what was on the agenda. So, we try to, bring it to the Planning and Zoning Commission's attention. And now I've brought it to Mark, the town administrator. I've also brought it to his attention. I don't exactly know how somebody can have this kind of activity where it's impacting our properties now. And, they don't have to go for a permit so that the water, I don't care what he does on his property, but I just don't want the water impacting our properties because of what he's doing over there. So, I don't know if it's planning and zoning, building, like who are you supposed to get permits from in regards to when you're doing work like that in the town, that the water is correctly diverted and not going into the wetlands or private properties.
well,
So Isabel, I mean, if he doesn't allow you on his property, can't you revoke his permit? Until you can see actually what's going on?
I don't believe he has any permit that I can revoke. No, he's.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's
so I
not a
misunderstood.
wetlands permit. He has a special permit for, they want to make a site plan for all the moose, the property that's next to our homes, and the other property they want to make it connected as all one property so they can expand their operations there of what they're going to offer for, whatever they do over there. And I quite frankly, I really don't care what they do for entertainment and all of that. But our main concern is the runoff water that's being created by the excavating that's going on in the middle of the night. It's going on, and it's creating, problems for all of us. So I'm not quite sure how the commissions work together, but do you talk to the Planning and Zoning Commission and ask them, what's going on and what can be done? Or I'm new to town. I've only been here a year, so I'm just trying to figure out how all this works, quite frankly.
So like I said, it depends on the nature of the application. The excavating you're discussing, if you have evidence, pictures or videos of the flashing in the night, you are more than welcome to send it to me.
You can speak to the gentleman over in Coventry. He let me take pictures from his house. I have pictures that I've sent to Mark of the mountain of dirt that is up on the hillside behind 68. And he will tell you, he has called the state police And I've actually had a conversation with P&Z in Coventry today because they were not aware of the problems that the Coventry residents were having on, because they've been reporting the complaint to Columbia, but Columbia doesn't even have anything recorded. And Isabel, when I asked her, where are the complaints, where are complaints recorded? And she said she does not keep any complaints written down. There's nothing in her records that she keeps about any complaints that come into her that she's told me. That's what she told me. And
Well,
how
I
can
told you
that be?
I told you that I do not keep a log of the
And-
complaints that I,
And how can that be? If I file a complaint for this home, this house 68, and you don't keep a record of that complaint, how does anybody going for a hearing know that there's a problem with that property?
just because I do not keep a record of open complaints does not mean I'm not aware of open complaints.
I know, but it has to be documented. If you leave, how does the next person know that this is an open complaint? This needs to be documented on the property file or in a ledger. I would think for a wetlands agent, you have to have some addendum or something that you provide to the commission so they know what's going on in town.
If I am able to determine that there is in fact a violation, which I'm not sure of at this point, then there will be a written record of that violation.
Okay,
The property owner will be sent a notice and the violation itself will be followed up on. To
Okay,
this point,
I would like to recommend to the town and the commission that this policy should change. If there is a written, and I'm happy to put it in writing, and I put it in writing in emails, but if you want me to fill out a form, if there are complaints sent to the town, the commission of, the Wetlands Commission or the Planning and Zoning Commission, they should know what's going on and what complaints are coming in so that they have a record to look back and say, look at this runoff has been impacting these properties here. This is now why we're having a flooding in this area here. How do you not keep any records? I'm sorry, I just don't understand
I
that.
do keep records of violations. And to this point, if there is excavation within the upland review area, that will be a violation. I am investigating it, but I will also add that when I did go out to your property, the water that you were pointing to is a wetland and is a historic wetland.
That's not, you didn't see where I was pointing to. The water is higher than the wetland. So you didn't, that's my point. You didn't even, when you came to our property, you did not even properly investigate. All of you came here and stood up on 66 and said, no, we don't see any problem here. And you left. And when I called and asked about it, if you could look into it further, I was told there's nothing else further to look into. So this is why I'm going before the commission tonight. And I appreciate your advice to contact Mr. Harrington and get some information further. And then when it's back on your agenda, I'm happy to come and discuss it further with all of you.
Sure. And Carol, you are always more than welcome to, and I appreciate your time as well. I'd like to make that clear. We appreciate residents coming and expressing their concerns and their interest in the wetlands of Columbia. I would like to clarify that I did not tell you there was nothing more to look into or imply that I was not looking into it. And I want you to know that I have received your complaint and I have done more than just stand at your property and look at it and determine that it wasn't valid.
Okay, well, I have emails, I think, that suggest differently, but I'm not going to go backward. I'll go forward and be optimistic. I would look forward to you and zoning working together to see if we can get some resolve and maybe get some way to push that water back into the lake or into his pond or whatever, make use of the water. But I don't want it coming on our property or into the wetlands.
Can I interject something here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't we have noise regulations as far as people working at night in the
Yes.
town?
Yes.
I mean, it's like people aren't supposed to be doing things like what, after 9 o'clock at night? Actually,
That's
I don't know.
correct.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. I know it's 8 o'clock in the morning because I've actually spoken to some people about it.
Yeah.
I mean, so if they're doing that in the middle of the night, that is an issue. and
But
that needs to be addressed.
but who do you call? The gentleman in Coventry that's directly impacted by that, we just hear it at a distance. It's not flashing in our homes. It's
Yeah.
flashing in his home, and I'll send you guys the picture. I'll send it to Isabel, and if she can send it to you, you'll see how they're directly impacted. But,
Yeah.
you know, he called Columbia and nobody did anything for him. He called the state police and the state police came at 3 o'clock in the morning, but what are they gonna do? You know, it's a town issue, you know, it's
Right,
not.
well, I mean,
he's
they should shut
Right.
them down, I would
Not if
think,
he's violating the noise problem.
Yeah.
The
They
state,
should be able to do something.
yeah, well, at the time, the state,
It's
you know,
the
whoever
police,
came,
should take care of that.
and I agree,
Yeah. Can
but
I,
it's just,
can I ask a question
yes,
or a
sir.
couple of questions, Carol?
Yes, sir.
Why, in your opinion, is he working at 3 o'clock in the morning?
I don't know. Are you required to have a permit for excavating? I don't know what the rules are in the
Yeah, that's
town.
number one.
Correct.
Number two, what's your address?
It's
68,
54
54,
Route 66 East.
66 East, okay.
And so
And-
it's the house next to us, 58, and my house 54, that are impacted by the water runoff
Okay, and
because
what,
it pools.
okay, so your property is on the high ground
Yes, sir.
next to 66, and do you have property that goes down the hill into the wetland area? Sounds like you do.
Our property goes down into the trail.
Okay, and your concern is, can you lay out your what
Yeah, and
you're
I'll send.
unhappy about what's happening and why you're,
Oh, no, it's not that I'm unhappy. I'm concerned because the water runoff, you know, we don't know what contaminants are in it. We don't know what chemicals. You know, it's coming from the road. It's what's happening is it's pooling up next to, it's still on Mr. Harrington's property, but it pools next to 58's property, higher than the wetlands. And then after a while, and then it sits there until we get a huge rainstorm. And then all of that mucky, dirty water that's, you know, been sitting there, could be for months, then gets pushed onto our properties. So
and
that's,
onto your wetland area?
yes. And
Okay.
into the wetlands that are down below. So
Right.
we're just looking for a solution for that water to be diverted or contained. You know, if they're doing excavation at 3 o'clock in the morning, can we get some kind of containment done at the same time to hold that water or divert the water?
Is there a way the water can be routed directly to the river on his property by
You know,
using his
that's,
property?
I don't know, because I don't know the dynamics of the property over there. I only know, you know, what's impacting us and what we can see from our property.
Okay, and you referred to a hearing, I think it was June 12th.
It's the
Yeah.
10th, next
And what-
Monday.
Last Monday, and what
No,
commission,
It's this coming Monday.
Well, July, you're
and
talking.
what
July.
commission is having that hearing?
Planning and zoning.
Okay, and what's the issue, specific issue that they're addressing?
They put in an application for some activities.
They-
Farmers
they-
market.
They being Harrington?
Yes, but also the Moose. It's three
Well, it's
different
the same
owners.
thing.
Right.
The Moose,
And then
okay.
and then also you know, some other kind of kid activity, but they also put in for a site plan approval. But our concern is that the site plan approval should not be approved because of this water issue that hasn't been resolved on one of the properties, 68. And also they have a billboard that they were building without a permit, and it went airborne and struck a car on Route 66 East in March. And then that's how we discovered that they did not have a building permit for that billboard. So that issue hasn't been resolved yet. They put in a permit
I
for,
believe they received a permit to
yes, but
replace
they,
that board.
yes, but they should have had a special meeting about that for the public, because that's a new billboard. That's not the existing billboard. And, there is some things, some corners that are being cut here that aren't done correctly. So, I've laid that out for Mark, the town administrator, but there's a couple of issues that should have been told to the planning and zoning department before the meeting of June 12th, and the town planner knew of these issues, but he didn't tell the planning and zoning commission any of these things that we were concerned about.
So as I understand it, he's excavating and he's storing excess water on his property. And when there's a heavy rain, that impoundment is filled and overflows, and some of that water comes onto your property.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is he, just to clarify, is he storing water or impounding water on his property, or is it that you feel that runoff is just being directed to the wetlands which connect to your property?
Well, I don't think he's storing the water.
No,
I
but
think-
where the water is coming from, his activity, or,
Yes.
and it goes onto your property. You said something about only when it rains.
Well, it builds up in a certain area, probably where there is an indent in his property. And then when we get a big rain, then it all gets pushed onto our property.
Okay, but it's not an impoundment, but it is a lower area where the water collects.
Is he
Yes.
doing any excavation in that area?
The excavation is up higher, over a little further up higher. So this is what's bringing the water down.
Okay. Okay, well,
Okay, thank you.
And I'll send some
thank you.
pictures to Isabel, and if she can share them with you, I greatly appreciate it. And I wish you all a happy 4th.
okay.
Oh,
Same
same
to
to
you.
you, Earl.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you,
Thank you
Carol.
very
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
Thank you.
we'll check- Isabel will check into it, and we'll check too. Thank you. Okay,
Before we move forward, can I
Yeah.
just say, her idea of having like a form for a complaint might not be a bad idea.
I agree completely.
Just to have a record of it, because I mean, you can get several complaints and it might appear to be nothing, but eventually maybe you see something there, if you understand what I'm saying.
To this point, I will say I've had very few wetlands complaints, which is why I don't keep a log. I think I've had basically two complaints about
that's pretty good.
specific actors. So it's
That is
there's
good.
not a lot. And
Well,
they're
you-
generally resolved
can-
very quickly. So that's why I have not been keeping.
Yeah, you
a
can
file.
look at it the other way too. You could say, because there's not many complaints, it's easy to keep a log.
True,
Yeah.
true. I'm
Yeah,
open to
and-
it. If the commission would like reports on complaints monthly, it's something that we could potentially
Well-
add to the agenda.
Yeah,
Or
I'm not
to-
even thinking just for, like wetlands, but I mean, planning and zoning, I mean, do they have like a form?
Oh, yes. Yeah, the zoning enforcement officer does periodically keep and update a log of zoning violations or complaints, but there are significantly more of those.
So are those complaints documented even if there's no violation?
Yes, we no longer take anonymous complaints for zoning. All
Yeah.
complaints have to be written with
Okay,
name of the
Okay.
complaint. Individual
Okay.
bringing the complaint. That's not something I would like to implement because I'd like to encourage people to come to me if they feel that there's something impacting the wetlands negatively.
yeah. Well, maybe they could come to you, first, and then, you could send a form to them or something, just so there is a written record. I mean, if somebody had to take over for you, like you're out sick or something, God forbid, or you're away on vacation and somebody had to take over for you, I mean, that information would be available to them, without going through the videos or anything. I know it's recorded in the videos as we discuss it, but just a
That's
thought.
definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it's just my 2 cents, so something to think about.
Okay. I think Isabel can check with Steve too and just see
Yes.
what he says. Very good. Okay. So let's get under Item 6.1, the application of Bethlehem, Town of Columbia to replace Hunt Road Bridge number 030004 and replace the existing culvert with a new precast box culvert. Hunt Road by Mono Pond between the assessor's map 029 lot 075 and map 034 lot 026 in the RA zone. You want to give us a little background on that, Isabel?
Sure, I'm just pulling that section of the application right now. So I did send a meeting link out, and we might at some point have a representative of the project join us. But in the event that we don't, I'll just introduce it. The bridge essentially that's in the area currently was built in 1970. It's made of a concrete box culvert, concrete head walls, flared wing walls downstream. On the upstream side, there are channelized walls and a slab that are adjacent to the spillway of the existing dam. And the culvert has heavy spalling on the walls with exposed rebar at the east wall near the inlet. The wing walls and both head walls have spalls and exposed rebar, and the wing walls have heavy scaling and hollow concrete. So the bridge and the culvert are both being replaced. Complete removal of the existing concrete culvert, a portion of the channel walls and slab, the flared wing walls and the concrete head walls, installation of a new 8.5 by 4.5 precast concrete box culvert and concrete head walls and wing walls downstream, and road construction to provide a 24-foot curb to curb width on the bridge with a total culvert length of 42.5 feet. The application itself also describes the wetlands impact. The entire project area is within wetlands. Regulated area is measured 200 feet from Mono Pond and 100 feet from downstream wetlands. The project area is primarily within the town-owned right-of-way and is approximately 7,800 square feet. The total proposed wetlands and watercourse disturbance is 920 square feet, about 0.021 acres. The majority of the disturbance is temporary, required during construction to provide access, water handling, erosion control, and to install cofferdams to allow the construction to be completed in dry conditions when they get to those wing walls and head walls. 165 square feet of the total disturbance is permanent and includes 35 square feet of the new box culvert and a cutoff wall, and 130 square feet for installation of riprap, crushed stone, slope at the base of the roadway slope. Any temporary disturbances will be restored back to their existing conditions at the end of construction.
Has any work been done on it yet?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
Just preliminary work to review the bridge and
Mhm.
its existing conditions.
Okay.
Will this necessitate closing down the road?
I believe it will. I'm not sure exactly what the plan would be for the roadway there. I think there's a detour that they've laid out possibly in that application. But I would need a representative,
To speak to
either
that?
Beth from Public Works, Beth Lunt, or Matt Brown from Barton and LaJudas to speak to that part of the plan.
Sure.
Okay. So now is this a new application that we have to
Yes.
approve? Okay,
So this is a new application to accept and then to, if you would like, schedule a site walk for.
okay.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second,
Second,
all in favor, say aye.
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 So moved. What's a good time to take a look at this? Let's see, this is July. Tomorrow's the 4th. How about Saturday, the 8th? At 9 o'clock in the morning?
Can we do it after Like on a Thursday afternoon or something. I bike on Saturday. Yeah, unless it's raining, of course.
Oh, okay, how about, let's see, oh, I can't, on the 6th, how about the 13th, Thursday? No, I'm sorry, the 14th at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock?
That works for me.
Works for me.
Good, okay.
John, are you thinking Thursday, the 13th or Friday, the 14th?
Thursday. The
13th?
13th, yeah,
Okay. At 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. 13th
13th.
at 5, good.
Okay,
13th At 5 PM. I'll put it on my calendar. And we'll be all set. Okay, good. Next item on the agenda would be old business. There is none.
It's a good thing.
We added item 6.2 IWWC
Oh, that's right. Yes.
324-01.
You're right. I'm sorry. I forgot
No.
that one. That's Carol Ann, no, that's the what was that? Oh, yeah.
Early.
The shed,
Sterling.
the shed. Want to give us a background on that?
Yes,
No.
absolutely. Does everybody have this application available to them right now? Okay. So it did come in slightly last minute, but I'd like to get rolling on it. This resident would like a shed on her property at 80 Lake Road. I believe the shed is 10 by 12 and there's a map included. I expect that the shed will encroach slightly into wetlands. This isn't completely to scale. And so it's something that we can refine a little bit, particularly after a site walk, after everyone sees it in person. The property itself is very challenging. She has quite a slope down towards the back of the property. So she uses a riding mower to maintain her lawn, and she needs a place to store it. The front of the yard has a 50-foot setback, which makes it very difficult to keep the shed fully out of the wetlands. The other side of the yard also has wetlands. Her septic system is there, and so that doesn't work as a feasible alternative. And then there is a section of the back of the property that doesn't have wetlands, but that would require her to build a bridge to cross the existing wetlands and stream to get back there to place a shed for her riding lawnmower. So that does not meet the definition of a prudent or feasible alternative. I've been out to the property, I would say 3 or 4 times now, trying to find potential different alternatives that would work for the needs of the property owner. And to this point, this has really been the only option on which she could place a shed. I don't think that the entire thing will be wetlands. I believe it will encroach by, I would say, maybe 4 feet. And then the remainder will be outside of the wetlands, but it is on quite a slope. So it'll depend on where it can be placed in that regard as well.
And which way is the slope, away or?
It slopes away from the road and down back towards the lake.
Okay.
The slope itself is what's been flagged as wetlands on the plan. I'd like to keep her closer to the road because I think that there are more significant wetlands towards the middle and back of the property. Where she's proposing it, it's quite a slope. I don't think that those wetlands are offering as many values and functions as wetlands further back on her property are.
Okay. So why don't we approve the application? Or have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
To
Second.
accept it.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move. And why don't we make this another check on our site walk?
Yeah,
That sounds good.
We might want to do that one first and then do the other one second. I think most of us live right around that area where she's going to be building the shed, so we'll do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay,
So I will schedule this one for, we said 5 o'clock and then
5
the
o'clock, and then
second
second
for
one,
5:30.
5:15 or 5:30, 5:30
Okay.
probably.
What was the address on Lake Road?
80.
80,
Lake
okay,
Road, yeah.
okay, thank you.
Okay. So, old business, there is none. I've already checked that. And how about the approval of the meeting minutes of May 1st? Wow, we go back far. 2023. I have a motion to approve them.
I'll make a motion. to approve
Second,
them.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The site walk minutes of May 11th, 2023. Motion to accept them.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, John.
Second,
Okay. All in favor?
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moved. And the third item here is special meeting minutes of May 18th, 2023. Do I have a motion to accept them?
I'll make a motion to accept them.
Okay, second,
second,
Chip, thank you. Okay, all in
All
favor?
in favor?
Aye.
aye.
So moved. Okay. Audience of citizens we've heard from before. Okay. And now I don't think anyone else is there. Any open discussion? Anybody have anything? Nope. Okay.
No.
Then, how about the administrative reports, Isabel? You want to summarize those?
So
Sure.
I issued 3 administrative approvals. One for a 2-car garage at 21 Upper Woodland Terrace. I might have previously reported on this.
Mhm.
The garage itself, I believe, is outside of the upland review area, but there are also additions to the house included with that application that are slightly within the review area. We spent a lot of time on this application. It went to ZBA as well. The town engineer was involved with several revisions going back and forth to make sure that no additional runoff would be sent to the lake or to the town swale that exists right on the eastern side of that property. I believe it's the eastern side. So no additional runoff should be directed towards that swale or impacting the lake. It's compliant with the nutrient allocation plan. And most of the development is over 100 feet from the lake itself and all well protected with silt fence, which is currently in, I believe. I also approved an application for Nathan Core to build a barn at, let's see, on Hennequin Road. I guess I didn't include the address there. I apologize for that, but it's a 36 by 40 barn about 60 feet away from an existing swale, which he has currently surrounding his property, which is fairly unique, but he doesn't have a significant slope. And there should be no impact to the swale in that area. And then finally, I issued an administrative approval to Norman Thibault to install an underground propane tank within the upland review area at 79 Cards Mill Road. It will be about 165 feet away from the 10 Mile River, and it's a 500-gallon underground propane tank.
Okay, very good.
Perfect.
Very good. Keeps you busy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we need a motion to adjourn. Do I
I'll
have-
make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, second,
Second,
all in favor? Aye.
Aye, all right.
Have a
Thank
good
you, John.
weekend. Okay.
You two
yeah.
have a happy 4th. And thank
Thank
you.
you
Fourth,
Isabel.
very
everyone.
much. Okay.
Yep.
You too.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.